What gets you moving?
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You'll have the energy to skate through anything. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
Kick the soccer ball around.
Or ride your bike.
carve out some time every day to get moving.
But do it your way.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. Just get active.
wrap it up.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.
In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television. We're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week, and certainly the Fairfield Christian Academy that puts this program together, J.T. Burcham, and our own Kelly Roberts with the Sheriff's Office that actually lines up our guests, gets the questions together, and does a lot of great behind-the-scenes things. This week, good to see you.
Nice
Lieutenant Mark Churchill, our jail commander with the Sheriff's Office. How's everything going?
Very well, very good.
Always busy, lots going on.
Yes, right now, beginning of the year, we had a high population, so right now we're experiencing a fair to low population, so it's very nice.
So what's a high population?
Up around 280, 290.
Okay.
Today we're at 232.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
That's very good.
And so why is that? Why do you have those kind of ups and downs like that?
Well, what I was able to determine was around late December, early January, we had quite a few drug arrests that involved multiple people. We had holiday offenders for like OVI, and then out of that, we found that some of the offenders were carrying illegal drugs on them, which meant their stay in the county jail was a little longer.
We've got a lot to talk about during the next two programs.
Yes.
This week, we're going to talk about the new jail, which is going to be up and running in probably a little less than 3 years.
Hopefully.
Breaking ground early next year.
Yes.
And you're going to tell us a little bit about the new facility.
Yes, I'd love to do that. One of the things that we experience right now is we don't have a lot of space for our inmates. So we had an average population last year of 265 inmates, and that's a lot. And with we only have a small housing units to put those inmates in, so it become cramped for them.
Okay.
So with the new jail design, the housing units are much larger. We can spread our inmate population out more efficiently by classification of offense. So we're putting the violent offenders together, and we're putting the non-violent misdemeanor offenses together, and which helps reduce staff conflict to inmate conflict, and we're better able to manage the inmate population that way.
And the location we're looking at is probably going to be 33 in Wheeling, but that may change. I know they're looking at some additional tests, but that's kind of the direction it looks like it's headed right now.
Yes.
And how are you? Will the existing facility stay there during the building of the new jail?
That's one of the things I believe it's up for discussion is, will the MSMJ, the minimum security misdemeanor jail, stay at that location during construction, or will they demolish it, house inmates out of county temporarily, and then build the new facility?
I think the hope is try to leave it there so we don't have to spend additional cash to send people to the
It
county.
does spend a lot of money to house them out of county.
Yes. So you're excited about this?
Very excited. Very excited for the fact that we're going to be giving the inmates a better housing that they deserve it. And I understand they've committed a crime, but that's the court's responsibility to pass judgment on them. Our job is to care and custody the inmates, and that's what we have to concentrate on.
And plus, I think you're going to look at certainly a much better working environment for the employees and a safer environment.
It is. It does create a safer, more efficient environment for both staff and inmates, and that's important.
Well, let's take a look here And this is the diagrams for the new jail, and this is kind of like the way it's going to be. I know you've been working a lot with Chief Perigo and a number of people, Kerry Brown with the Commissioner's Office, to kind of come up with a plan, and certainly the architects on this. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, you have two sections here. We have an administrative section which houses our Civil Bureau, Patrol Bureau, Communications Bureau, the Detective Bureau, and the administrative, such as yourself, Chief Deputy. And then we have the jail portion, and it's the much larger section of this. And as you see, these are the two housing units. Each housing unit is broken into separate housing pods. So again, you have more efficient spacing of your inmates, and you can classify them out better. We have a secure sally port here now.
Now, sally port for our viewers and listeners, what is a sally port?
What occurs is when an inmate comes into our facility, they'll pull into this, the garage doors will shut, and they'll be able to enter the facility. As is right now on Main Street, a patrol car pulls up outside in an unsecured area where a number of things could occur from the time the inmate exits the vehicle and enters the facility. So there is a security risk at that point, both for the arrestee and the officer transporting the inmate.
So once they're in custody in that cruiser, then they're not going to be out. They're going to be able to get in there safely. That certainly lessens the chance that there might be an escape or an attempt escape, right?
Correct. And that's the whole goal of using a sally port for that.
Okay.
You have a much larger booking area with increased number of holding cells, which is also a benefit. We do not have what's referred to as a drunk tank. It's where if we have somebody that comes in that's intoxicated, we can actually house them now in a much safer environment than we are now. And we also have separate holding cells to where if we have people on a close watch, people that may be at risk to self-harm, we can have them in this area where they are in constant observation of our jail staff.
Okay.
We do have a much larger kitchen area for food preparation. And again, the housing units are much larger.
And here's something that's really going to help. Right now, we really don't have any like classrooms for our inmates. So you have 4 classrooms.
Right. We have very little programming space at the MSMJ, none at Main Street Jail.
Right.
But the new facility allows us to have 2 classrooms per pod. And each classroom will hold anywhere between 45 to 60 inmates. And these classrooms can be used from anything from jail ministries, GED classes, AA meetings, NA meetings, or we can do social service meetings such as Mid-Ohio Psychological Services or substance abuse counseling in those areas.
Okay, so all good. And now will the prisoners be segregated depending on the type of crimes they committed, depending on maybe their gender, a lot of different things?
That's correct. We actually have 2 pods here for females in their open dorm settings, but in the event, and we have some inmates right now that are female that are violent offenders, we do have a more secure section for the female violent offenders.
Okay.
And also for the males. We have some male open dormitories in this area, but we also have 3 housing units that are for violent male offenders where they need to be in a more locked down type of status than a non-violent offender would be.
And one of the things you mentioned before airtime is the fact that the way these new jails are designed, one deputy can do a lot of different responsibilities. In other words, you have like what we call sight lines here. So a deputy that would be in this room here, it would be a secured room. He can see down the hall, he can look around and see where all the prisoners are. That's one deputy that can do a lot of different functions.
It is staff efficient. The inmate in booking, or the officer in booking, can have sight lines down the hallways to watch inmate travel, and it's the same for the pod deputies. They'll be able to monitor all the inmate movements within the housing unit from one central location without the use of a video system. They'll be able to see directly into the housing units, and again, they'll be able to see each other.
Now, one of the other things that really comes to mind, this jail will house just under 400 prisoners.
Yes.
And today we've approached 300. So probably in the next 10 years we'll be full again. So
yes.
So now tell us a little bit about what will happen then.
Well, what we have is the ability to expand within this facility, which again makes the facility cost effective. We have the ability to increase our housing by 172 to 216 inmates.
So this is
by adding a pod.
This will be added.
Could be added in the future.
And again, when that's added, again, the sight lines are still there, and it can probably be done pretty cost effectively 10, 15, 20 years from now when it's needed.
Very cost effective. Now, one of the other areas I'd like to point out is we have we have to offer inmates outdoor recreation during non-inclement weather days.
That's interesting, yes.
We're not able to do that now.
Okay.
What this design allows us to do is be able to allow an inmate to have outdoor recreation in a very secure area that is under observation of, again, the dorm officer here can see into this rec yard, the dorm officer here can see into this rec yard. So we're able to meet state minimum jail standards in that area, and that's someplace we haven't been able to meet because of the facilities design.
Now, we've looked at the inside of the facility. Again, you said this is the administrative, where the detectives, civil, are different areas of the administration is. This is the jail. Let's take a look at what the outside's going to look at. I know you brought a diagram of that, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, actually, it's very good. And when we look at this design, Sheriff, it's obvious to anybody that looks at it, that's a jail.
Right.
But if you look at this design in this manner, it's very soft. When you look at this, you don't say to yourself, well, that's a jail. So it's very friendly to the neighborhood. The exterior doesn't give the appearance of a prison or a jail. The landscaping fits in with the neighborhood, and it's more efficient. I'll give you kind of an idea when you were looking at the diagram. This is the sally port we spoke of, where the inmates would be received. This would be the public entrance for the jail facility, which is this area here. And then this is the public entrance for the administrative side, for people who want to visit civil or they need to come in and file a police report.
Very good. And one of the things that I thought was really kind of neat is when in the civil, or when they come into the administrative part of the sheriff's office, there's what we call a safe room.
Yes.
And that is something that came to light because there's been instances in the past where maybe there was an estranged husband chasing a wife, maybe there was just a stranger following somebody. They can actually run into that room, shut the door, and lock themselves in.
Yes, there'll be a room located within the lobby of this area where if someone's in danger of their lives, as you've described, they can enter this facility, go straight to that room, and when the door shuts behind them, it becomes a secure room and it cannot be opened from the outside.
And I think the other thing that's particularly nice, as you mentioned, this really does have very nice curb appeal.
Very good curb appeal.
And so when people are driving by, it's going to fit into the neighborhood. And the other thing, if you look at that intersection today, if you go down to 33 and Wheeling Street, it really doesn't look very nice. It's not in very good shape anymore. The building we're in was built in the I don't know how long. It was a Kroger building. It was a bar at one time.
It's been many buildings. The area has deteriorated over time. It's not a very it's an eyesore.
So this is actually going to kind of be a plus for the neighborhood as far as the appearance, and certainly the thing that I like is the fact that at the Wheeling Street location, it's going to be handy for a lot of people visiting our prisoners. They're going to be able to, they're right downtown. It's going to be close to the social services, job and family services. We're just down the street from the Lancaster Police Department, so a lot of good stuff.
Now the benefit of having our facility at this location are the residents of that neighborhood. By having our facility in this neighborhood, it should allow that neighborhood to become a safer neighborhood because this is where our facility is going to be located.
Cruisers coming and going, all day and night.
Right.
All good stuff.
So it's a good benefit for the neighborhood.
New facility, and this will probably be up and running in 3 years?
We're hoping late December. We're hoping late 2016. That's the goal.
Okay, we're almost out of time. Lieutenant Churchill, our jail commander, like to have you back next week, and we'll talk more jail issues. We could talk for a long time about things, talk about prisoner safety, talk about maybe the medical programming that we currently have at the Fairfield County Jail. Can you join us next week?
Absolutely.
Do appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. And again, the staff and the students here at Fairfield Christian Academy that make this program available to us at no cost. Until next week, same time, same place. If you're driving, buckle up. God bless, and we'll see you right here next week.
When it comes to choosing a school, parents who want the best education for their students look for academic excellence, skilled teachers, a safe school that encourages their values. Students want a school with competitive athletics, unique opportunities, and friendships that last a lifetime. Fairfield Christian Academy, the place where parents and students agree. Enrolling now at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.